Good night, ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? You all sense of victory? I could sense of victory too. You know, just to follow on from the chairman just now, when he said that in the Barbados Labour Party times, you had dollars. In the Democratic Labour Party times, you got cents. I actually think in the Democratic Labour Party times, you got bills. Because that is all we have left now. Lots of bills and nothing to pay the bills with. But that is the thing. And we ain't got nothing to pay our bills. I heard the speaker after speaker come and talk about where they were from and so on. I just come from Dighton Road, just down the road there. And there was a time that this area was part of Christchurch West. Do you all remember that? Rollins Road, Tate Road, and Gunsight Road. They were all part of Christchurch West. But we had a boundary change. And at that boundary change, that went to this area, then went to St. Michael South. And at that time, St. Michael South made history. Because St. Michael South, under Noah Lynch, removed a prime minister from office. So St. Michael South has a history of removing prime ministers from office. There is a history here, Kirk, in removing prime ministers from office. And I want you to repeat what was done then and remove Frandell Stewart from being the Member of Parliament for St. Michael South. I want you to vote in your numbers for my friend Kirk Humphrey, because he is an excellent individual. I've known Kirk a very, very long time, way before politics. And I want to tell you, when you have a friend in Kirk Humphrey, you have a real friend. And y'all are beginning to see what kind of person Kirk Humphrey is. Whatever you ask Kirk for, he tries his best to help you with it. Whatever he has to do, if you ask him to go a mile with you, he can go 2. Because that is the measure of the man. And that is why I know and I am confident that Kirk Humphrey will displace Frandell Stewart from St. Michael South. And just because we represent Christchurch West, the people don't understand this boundaries thing. It's a community. And I know the people of Rollins Road and Tate Road and Gunsight Road. And wherever I go, when I talk to them, they tell me, man, you ain't gonna worry. Kirk is the man for St. Michael South. He can take out Frandell. Frandell ain't do nothing for the people out here. And you imagine he's a prime minister with access to every single ministry, with access to all sorts of resources of the whole government. Where he could tell any minister to do anything and they have to say, yes, Prime Minister, and get it done. Where if he wanted roads to go here, he got to tell them, get those roads done. Well, he's the Prime Minister. Did he do it? No. If he wanted natural gas, put more about here, he could tell them, Minister of Energy, go and do it. Well, he's the Prime Minister. Did he do it? No. If he wanted people to get jobs, he could tell them straight, employ this person and that person because they come from my constituency. Did he do it? No. What we do? We tell one another. We say to y'all. But I can tell you something about what he didn't do. And this is, I can tell you something about what he didn't do because it made me cry. And I'll tell you why. Remember I told y'all, in 1999, Christchurch West was part of this area. There was an old lady who used to live, I don't want to call her name or anything, but used to live in this area. And at that time, the Urban Development Commission had just started. And Henry Ford was the MP then. I used to work very closely with him. And Henry told me, William, go in the area and look and see what senior citizens' houses need repairs and so on and so forth, and let us identify them and get the Urban Development Commission to do the repairs. I went by this lady, a very elderly lady, a blind lady. Her house was in a terrible state. Now you know the kind of houses and what happens to them. Falling in, you can barely walk on them because you might fall in the cellar and so on and so forth. And I got the Urban Development Commission to repair that house. In 2008, when the government changed, that lady got ill. And she had to go into the hospital for an extended period of time. Do you know they went and put somebody else in her house? This government went and put somebody else in that old lady's house. But that was not the worst part of it. At the time, Frandell Stewart was the minister responsible for Urban Development Commission and the Member of Parliament for the very same area. And I went to Frandell Stewart in his office. And I told Frandell that it was a travesty of justice to put somebody else in that lady's house. And they needed to fix the situation. And they needed to get that old lady back in her house. And Frandell listened. And Frandell took copious notes, as he does. And Frandell gave me a lot of lip service that it will be done. And they were sorry that they made the mistake. And they were going to get the old lady back in the house. It was in the paper and all, man. And you know something? I went to him again after 6 months and they hadn't put the old lady in the house. And he apologized and told me they're going to put the old lady back in the house. And they were sorry about the mistake. And I went to the director of Urban Development Commission too. And I told him the same thing. That I knew that that old lady was the rightful owner of that house. And that old lady needed to be in that house because I was the person that made sure that that house was fixed for her through the Urban Development Commission. And after a year, and they did not put her in her house. You know that old lady died? That old lady died begging for scotch at somebody else. Just because of the inept, inactive, absolute disastrous leadership that Frandell Stewart did in this constituency. Because at the time, he was the Member of Parliament for it. And he was the person responsible for the Urban Development Commission. Him and Derek Aline let that old lady die. Scott begging for a scotch. When she should have been in the house that the Urban Development Commission had done for her since 1999. And it is a scandal. And it should never be allowed to happen. If nothing else, Kurt, if nothing else, Frandell Stewart and the Democratic Labour Party need to be removed from office. Because if they could do that to a blind, defenseless old lady, well, what do it do to you? What have they done to you? They have taken this country down the worst path. Sewage flowing all about. And then decide that they can give themselves back 10% retroactive. But they didn't deserve it. But they didn't do nothing for it. You know, sometimes I just wonder, what are they getting paid to do? What they ain't representing the people, they representing y'all? Well, if they ain't representing y'all, it's time for them to move. Ring the bell, Frandell. Ring the bell, Frandell. You know, normally in this country, we have elections after 5 years. And then if the second election comes around, it'll be after 10 years. You know, 10 years gone already? January 15th, 2003. I remember it well. It was my wife's birthday. January 15th, 2003 is when the government changed. 2008 is when the government changed. It has gone past January 15th. My wife had her birthday. It's been 10 years. We should have had an election already. But they're taking extra time because they want to get extra salary. But we got to bring that salary to an end and bring that government down because they've done nothing for us. They can't do anything more. They recognize they're out of ideas. They recognize that they're totally out of their depth and have nothing more to do. Well, it's time to vacate office. Put in Kirk Humphrey. Put in Marsha Kettle. Put in Kerry Simmons. Cynthia Ford. Led by Mia Amor Motley. Because she has a plan for Barbados. And she will bring Barbados back to what it used to be. What of a time that everything used to be working in Barbados? Y'all remember that? We ain't had no sewage in the streets. We could have paid our bills. The garbage trucks were working. You could have little money in your pocket. Who got any money in the pocket now? Everybody got to be dipping into the savings. These hard times. But it's hard times for me and you, but not hard times for them. Them fellas lying in the pockets all the time. But everything, you know, the old people, they say, day and night, you know, one is followed, the day is followed till night catch it. All right, well, everything will come to an end, you know. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever, Friendel. And this gravy train that you've been on will come to an end. Because we know that the people of Barbados are fed up with the Democratic Labour Party, and we have had enough of you, and it is time for you to go. Time for you to vacate office. Time for you to bring Kirk Humphrey to the fore and make him the representative for St. Michael South. I am confident that Kirk Humphrey will do an excellent job. 10 times better than Frandel could ever do. Whether they want him up in St. Philip, his own friends, you know, St. Philip full of friends and family. Enough family. Everybody's a Mason, a Wiltshire. All of them are Lashley. Enough. And his own family rejected him. Well, if his own family will reject him up in St. Philip South, why are y'all holding on to him? Well, ain't a point. He hasn't done anything for you. He doesn't even want to talk to you. I mean, even if you can't do anything, but you could talk to the people. Bring the people into your confidence. He hasn't even done that. So you, the people of St. Michael South, have one job on election day. That is to get out there, get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get all the people in your district, and get out there and vote for my good friend Kirk Humphrey, because he will make an excellent representative for St. Michael South. And I know that if Kirk Humphrey was the person that had gone to, not only would they have made sure that that old lady got into her house, but he would have gone and seen her. He would have made sure that she was replaced into the house that she was given way back in 1999, because Kirk Humphrey cares about people. Not the deceit, lies, and propaganda party, because they don't care. They don't care. None of their actions have shown that they care about people. None. You know, you don't know people by their words. You know them by their actions. And I have seen the actions of Kirk Humphrey. And I know that you have seen it too. And you have to bring Kirk Humphrey home. So my job is finished tonight, because I know that you will bring him home. Ladies and gentlemen, good night and God bless you all.